Alrighty, let's hope everything is set up properly. We'll find that out in just a minute. Is it? It is. Welcome, everybody, to this mid-season break event, technically, on this wonderful 19th of April 2026. You're reading the title, probably. It's a League versus League event. DRC versus Fixxxer. And we're already going in. I timed this perfectly. Let's go. Let me just get everything up so we can get started with the racing action. Also in the title, it is indeed 100% race event. I gotta minimize my things real quick. It is a 100% race event in Canada on the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. 100%, 70 laps, 20 people, or 19 if the last Fixxxer guy isn't actually showing up today. Regardless, we're hoping for some action. How this technically is set up, real quick for everybody. Each team has one DRC and one Fixxxer driver in it. So Ferrari, as you can see, Gino and his teammate, which I already can't see anymore because my eyes are that bad. But obviously Gino's not with Prototype as we have during the normal set of races. Now I shall prepare the rest. The little TV feeling with the logo up on the right. And obviously for the DRC drivers who are usually out driving while there's a stream commentating them, they can watch today. This is technically a 3-race event. I don't fully know how everything is set up, but as we go along, we'll find out. Obviously, if we have 3 events, we also have either 3 races of break or 3 weeks of break over the course of the season. Obviously, not all back-to-back, or one of them is at the end of the season, but we'll find that out eventually. All right, and here we go into the formation lap of this 70-lap race. Right on pole. On P2, we have Gravel Trap in the Williams from Fixxxer. P3 is Justin. P4, RD Gamer in the Williams today. So technically, so the Williams actually performing really well here today. Prototype in 5th. 6th is a Red Bull who didn't turn their telemetry on, sadly. Thunder is in 7th. Masquerader is in 8th. Driver in 9th is Brandon. In 10th, we have Luis Glazer. In 11th, we have Liskanek. In 12th, we have JB. Here we see the strategy for those 70 laps. In 13th, we have Floyd. 14th, Lars. 15th, Retrospect. 16th, is Donkey Racing. 17th is Kimirai. 18th is Lux. And 19th is Juno in the Ferrari. Probably feel quite happy about that. You have 2 people without telemetry. One also not showing his name, which is rather sad. Rate now has to wait for everybody to line up. Meanwhile, I'll get my phone open to also entertain you guys in the chat over the course of this race. Everybody's parked! And here come the lights for the first round of the Fixxxer versus DRC event. And here we go! 70 laps in Canada. Raid not with the best start. The Williams moving ahead. Raid going in. Small touch in the back. And there's already a collision. There's already a collision in the back. There's an AlphaTauri or Racing Bull. It's Lars. And then there's also Lewis and Floyd involved in this. Also a lot of warnings already. A lot of stuff going on at the start. Fastest lap is obviously not the right setting for my tower, sadly. So my tower was a bit wrongly set up. I apologize for it. Going into the gain loss real quick. Kimirai gaining 6 positions. Juno gaining 7, obviously because of the whole shebang that was going on at the back. Now we're gonna get set up with the intervals real quick, and then we will watch what will happen over the next 69 laps. That's the first challenge for Juno. It's been going well for now. Raid lost P1 at the start. This is the second time this happened in 2 weeks. Obviously it happened last week to Masquerader in Japan, but this is not what we're looking at here today. There's also a lot of tire strategy involved. Retrospect in the pit lane being involved at the start collision. Getting a new front wing, a new set of tires. As far as I'm seeing it, it's the hard compound. Now it's another set of mediums. Alright. Up to the front. Gravel Trap. Hunted by Ray, Justin, RD, Protohype, the Red Bull, Masquerader, Thunder, who are currently the top 8. JB in 9th. So at least for the DRC people, a really good start. Sadly not that well for the Fixxxer people, who kind of rammed themselves out by the looks of it in turn 1. But now we have this big DRS train behind Gravel Trap looking to make a lunge. Raid just goes by. No challenge involved. Ray takes the lead in this race. The top 3 on hard tires, RD being the first one on the mediums here today. Masquerader against the Red Bull. Let's see how that goes. Masquerader on with the lunge on the inside. Still on the outside, and there's the next collision! Masquerader cuts his front wing of the Red Bull, also losing parts of his wing. JB now trying to make a move on the Red Bull. That wasn't the fine British way, as you could say. But as we've seen in past races, there's always the involvement of front wing, and if it makes you faster or not. And it's raining. It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting the first twist of this race. Kimirai diving down the inside of JB. But it is raining, ladies and gentlemen. The first twist in those 70 laps. Raid already having a penalty. There's already the second twist. A lot going on here in this league versus league event. Kimirai drifting along the wall of champions. And there's a yellow flag. There's a big crash. Juno involved. Virtual safety car. I was looking at the tower for 1 second, and there's a big shunt. Thunder involved. Thunder was the car facing the wrong way in turn 2. Meanwhile, the cars at the back all going for the intermediates already. That's a bit early, I'd say. That's a little bit early. Retrospect also probably going. It's coming down from the skies above. If the drivers knew... Now that's really depending on the driver's knowledge. If the drivers knew there's gonna be rain... Virtual safety car ending, received the team radio for Justin. Why start the race on hards? No DRS here. Gravel trap. What was that? Justin also getting a 10-second penalty. Gravel trap. What was that for a move? Juno also speeding in the pit lane. Rates losing out to Justin. Gravel trap in the lead, but obviously he has to serve a 10-second time penalty soon. The whole grid is in the pit lane. And there's one McLaren at the back making a move, and that's Lewis, who's coming out in 6th position. Kimi Ryan 7th, Flo in 9th. The whole grid already separated. What was this start? This is a start I didn't expect, to be fair. I don't think anybody expected the start to happen this way. We have 3 people with a penalty now. Rate's penalty obviously being a time penalty and not a 10-second penalty. Only Thunder. Thunder's the only driver who does not have a warning yet. And we're on lap 5 out of 70. We already had a lot of action. The grid now far apart from each other. DRS also didn't get re-enabled, to my knowledge. Yeah, the wing is closed. So now it's down to the driver again, without any assists. Raid in 3rd, Prototype in 4th, RD really uneventful so far in 5th. Let's look at the back a little bit, because there's a Merc going for a move. JB with the next penalty. Retrospect with a penalty. Lars now against JB in turn 1. That's a bit late on the brakes, missing the apex. Now making himself vulnerable for Juno, who also got a pit stop penalty. He also got speeding in the pit lane. Oh! We heard a wall. We heard a wall. I'm not too aware which wall we heard. Obviously, now it's time for the drivers to find their groove with the new tires. I don't know which setup they chose, but I'm pretty sure, considering we also had a bit of a mixed tire choice, considering if we knew the rain was coming in lap 3, why not start on softs? But apparently the drivers weren't too aware of it. So I don't really know who picked a dry and a wet setup. And obviously we also don't know if it might dry out again. Considering I sadly couldn't use my preview overlay because we don't have a quality masquerader. Next 3-second penalty. Juno hunting down JBC, Flo, Lars, and the Red Bull. Okay, the Red Bull is already 2 seconds up ahead, but... JB against Flo. JB round the outside. And there's a touch. Well, that was probably due to latency problems. Hopefully. Juno now tries to swing his Ferrari down the inside of the Alpine. Wants to get by the rather laggy car, I think. There's another wall notch. Someone likes hitting the wall. Juno needs to risk it for the biscuit. No, not right here. Flo covers it off for the time being. Helping, obviously, his fellow league driver, JB, up ahead to get a little bit of a distance to the Ferrari. Yeah, that's a lot of red exclamation marks we have here already. Thunder, meanwhile, down in 17th. without even a warning. Though what we're not aware is if he's damage free, considering he was sideways when people rammed into him. Not that he got a little bit of side pod damage or something. Meanwhile, we have Donkey here, hunting down the Aston Martin ahead of him. Lifting a bit though. I don't know if he just didn't want to attack, or if he's just more lenient with his fellow league driver. He has a broken front wing, so he probably hit the wall somewhere in the rain. Liskanek, next 3-second time penalty. He's down in 18th. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, up to 13th, and up to Juno with the next maybe move against the Alpine. We'll let JB go. Oh god, that is an internet and a half. Behind Juno, we're having Lux Raid with the next 3-second penalty. The Alpine has really good traction out of the hairpin. And I'm already suffering the fact I turned my fan off here in the commentator lounge. Just to not also give you a great stream, but also outstanding audio quality for the day, obviously. I'm a bit scared it might turn out the way it turned out in Japan. With this now being a little bit of a snoozer. But the start was definitely interesting. The start definitely didn't disappoint for a League versus League event. Lux hitting the wall out of turn 4 or 5 it is. And Juno hunting down a laggy Alpine. Now he's on the button. We see it. Oh, that's why I love the overlay. I think he needs to do it here. He just doesn't have traction out of any other corner. Because this corner, the Alpine's gonna win on traction again. A big thought here is that the Alpine has, Oh, Juno here! Into the Villeneuve chicane. Next penalty for Juno. Can he go? Can he go? Floor without ERS brakes really late. Oh, and there's a touch! Well, that might be due to Flo's internet. And now Juno... I think Juno had it with the Alpine. Yes, goes by. Lux is getting let by, or does Flo have a problem? Might be a little bit of both. Now Juno has to hunt down 3 seconds to JB. That's a huge gap. But the last to first is obviously still possible. It's been the 7th of the race distance. Justin, now the next person with a penalty. It's all coming together for Prototype. And as to check correctly said, Rate is indeed closing the gap on Gravel Trap. Less than a second. And we can't forget, Rate might have 2 time penalties, but also Gravel Trap is having to serve that 10-second stop-and-go penalty once he has to pit again. And I don't see this race as a one-stopper. I don't think the intermediates, while Floyd is also the next person who gets a 30-second penalty. That is the Alpine. Mr. Floyd. I don't see this race being a one-stopper. The stop was way too early. There's just no way this race ends with a one-stop. Raid. Does he try? Not here. But we can go down all the way to 17th and see Thunder struggle. And there's a yellow. There's a yellow somewhere. Or was that for Thunder? Let's open the track map that I didn't do yet and find out. It's so unnormal to see Thunder in a Haas. Give me Ryan 7th. Out of the last chicane. Maybe he can set a move against Lewis. Lewis on the button. Kimi on the other hand, not on the button so far. Ah, that's a great camera angle for the pink racing bull. The gaps aren't the biggest, but there's also not too much going on simply because you don't have the DRS assist, and the curse assist also doesn't essentially do that much good for you on this wet and slippery surface. The question might really remain, how long is this rain gonna last? Or even if this rain might last for the entirety of the race. Prototype is with Justin. Prototype doesn't have a penalty yet, so might be smart. Nope, they go side by side in the chicane. There is a little bit of a touch, but that's simply what happens when you try to go side by side in the Villeneuve chicane. Prototype back on 3rd. He had a little bit of a struggle at the start of the season in DRC, but recently he picked up. Obviously with the team he last season drove for in DRC, but that's enough about that. Where do we have a small gap? Technically, we can go back to 7th and 6th with Lewis and Kimi Rai, because a certain Masquerader also closed in, while Brendan and Thunder get 30-second time penalties. Lewis is really uneasy on the brake into that chicane. But they're both on the button. The most energy currently has Floyd, but we also have P11 down to P19, all with penalties. Let's real quick after this starts thing have a little bit of an overview. Gravel Trap now also gets a 30-second time penalty. Retrospect is lapped. And so are soon the second Ferrari and Red Bull. That's not what I wanted to look at. There we go. Time penalties. Nearly everybody has one. RD's not even on a warning. The Red Bull without telemetry is on 1. Kimi Rai is on 1. Lewis here is on 2. And Lars is also on 2. Kimi Rai, 10 positions gained. Prototype 2. Lewis 4. Juno 7. Lux in 13th, gained 5 positions. The big loss currently is sadly Thunder in 15th with 8 lost positions. And now we're back to the usual program, and with Kimi Rai maybe setting up a move on Lewis finally. Oi. That's what I meant with the ERS doesn't essentially have to be a help. The traction is just not there, but there's also not that much rain as there was before, so maybe a really small rain period. We're in lap 15 out of 70 now, so a lot can still happen. RD now with the fastest lap, as Kimura is getting told. And Raid is there. Against Gravel Trap. Raid looking pretty familiar in his Alpine. Gravel Trap in the Williams. And Raid playing his usual game of having way more energy than the car had, or usually behind. But now is probably time for the move. Both on the button. Raid has way more energy. And now goes down the inside. Small lockup. But he gets it stopped. Oi, guys, come on. Oh, Jesus. Driver's a little bit heated here, it seems. Well, it's just the fact that both leagues are not really familiar with the driving of each other. There's a green flag, so there has to be a yellow somewhere, which we didn't see, so it might have been just a really small one. Back to the fighting group. 6th down to 8th. Kimura in the middle of it. Louis up front and Masquerader in the rear of the fighting group. I hope, considering the starting, the start was quite interesting, that everyone here is quite entertained with this race so far. 19 drivers still all in here. Everyone's still having a shot at glory, depending on how this race might turn out going forward. Kimura defending Masquerade, who drifts through the penultimate chicane of the circuit. But it helps. Maybe now with the move. The Aston Martin, not right here. Raid is also back in 2nd. I did not see that. I did not see that coming. Raid's in the pits. He hit his front wing. Oh. Uh-oh. He's going on hards. Why? It's still raining. Did he mess up his strategy? Retro's also in the pits. Keep an eye on that. I'm just way too confused right now. I'm sorry. Don't really catch why Raid is on hards. Yeah, the Red Bull closing in massively. I think Raid messed up his setting on the pit stop menu. Oh, that's not great at all for the Alpine. Gotta see if he pits again this lap. Meanwhile, Gravel Trap obviously gone forever. Prototype 5 seconds back. The Red Bull now. Retrospect retired. Did he retire in the pit lane? No, he retired on circuit. Hopefully that doesn't cost anything. It's not smart. That is not smart. Gonna see now if Red pits again and fixes the slider mistake. No, he does not. He stays out on the hard tire. Right, it's wet. Right. It's an interesting race so far. Retrospect left the session, but that's not really too much to our concern. I I'm more interested in the fact what Raid can do on those hard tires, because now also Lars is closing in. And will also now probably already try to put the current championship leader in DRC down into 10th. This is a beautiful move. Round the outside. Even with the tire advantage, you first gotta do it. First gotta pull that kind of move off. JB, 30-second time penalty. We're familiar with that one already. Justin now in the pits. Is there still rain? Doesn't look like it. The rain stopped. Let's just make... Justin is also moving onto the hard tire. The rain did stop. Did did Ray pull up a masterclass of strategy here? Probably not. Because Justin might just get out ahead of him. Yeah, he will. Ray saw it coming. Reacted fine. But it's too early. And JB thinks so as well. Ray, that's a bit over aggressive if the tire's not up to speed yet. That's a bit much. Next up, Juno. Let's see if he makes it that hard for Juno as well. Yee! Ha ha! This is getting interesting. This is getting really interesting. Justin here on the hearts. Hunting down JB, who's hunting down Lars. Ooh, 10-second penalty. Oh, that's not good. That's not good for the AlphaTauri. Or Racing Bull. I keep using every name in the book. I'm gonna call them Toro Rosso next. Gravel Trap served his 10-second stop and go penalty. And comes out in 6th, driving out on the medium tire. Now the question is, what does Prototype do? Those two come in. Last 10-second penalty. To be fair, before the race started, Rates said he wants a 2011 race. We are on its way to have that right now. Prototype in the lead. How long is he going to stretch these intermediates? Is he going to wait until DRS is back available? Or is he going to cover the rest now? A few seconds until we find out. Is in the pits. For which tire is the question? RD will probably follow, so will the field behind. And we're gonna look at Prototype. Which tire does he move on to? Softs! Oh, that's interesting. RD is also on softs. Kimirai. Softs. Loses out to Lewis, though. DRS is now enabled. And the Red Bull, still on inters, comes out in 4th ahead of Lewis. That might hold people's progress. Juno having to serve the 10-second stop and go penalty. Floyd in the pits behind him. But we can also already see this red rubber. Another pit stops onto the softs. We have all 3 tires in use. What will we want more? We have all 3 tires in use in this Canadian Grand Prix. And now also back with DRS assistant. We also technically currently have 4 tires in use. Because the Red Bull is still on intermediates. A masquerader! Well, that's what we know him for. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because there must have been a reason why Raid had lost the lead as well. Now the Red Bull is also in. We're gonna look real quick. Oh, too much tire he picks. Hearts! Alright, back into the battles. Gonna be yellow in turn 1. Not anymore. But who we do have here is Lars against Juno, now with the usage of the rear wing. Maybe on the start finish straight. King James is the Red Bull who has telemetry off. Funny enough. Alright, back to Kimirai, who now wants to overtake Lewis around the outside. It's softs against hards. It's not really that big of a battle at this current state. But all Lewis needs to do is stay close and put up a fight against the Masquerader. They're both on hards. They have an equal playing field. Whoa! They're not giving an inch. But that's what we want to see. Are we working together? I honestly have no idea. But I'm also not too familiar with the whole setup of this. So there might be a reason. Thunder is now getting overtaken by Lucas? Lux. I apologize. We are back to battles on circuit. Raid against Justin. Masquerader, meanwhile, overtaking Lewis. RD game a 1:13.6, fastest lap of the race. Can Raid do anything against Justin? Not on the straight. Masquerader, 3-second time penalty. Lux, 3-second time penalty. Raid with the fastest lap. On the hard tire, by the way. Let's look at Floyd and Thunder. Behind Lux, 13, 14, 15. Thunder already had his moment. He's not gonna, right? No. Floyd gets a penalty, though. Did Thunder get one as well? Not too aware. Didn't see it. Oh, Floyd, that's really late. That's a beautiful counterattack. Wow. Did not see that one coming. Meanwhile, in the front, RD in the Williams and Prototype in the Kick Sauber up ahead. Gravel Trap starting to hunt them down. It's not an FFA, you're right. Masquerader against Kimura. Question now is obviously, how long do the softs even last? It might not have been planned for a stint that long. Maybe they're just trying to stretch it until they can finish the race on the hard compound. Oh god, my talking. It's a lot of penalties though. Quite proud to see that there's still a few people with only a yellow exclamation mark instead of a red one. Masquerader hunts down Kimirai. Behind it, Lewis. films us from behind how Masquerader. Real quick swoops by Kimirai. And Lewis saves himself some battery. That's an interesting line from Floyd. Yeah, I don't think they last that long. If they last 10 laps, it might be good. Oh, Thunder is on the grass. That's... yeah, that could not work. Bit too optimistic. But still, a really, really nice try. Lewis, behind Kimirai, behind Masquerader. I did not expect, though, a 100% race to have a lot more action than some of the 50% races we've seen this season. Especially since even if this was a 50% race, we'd still have 8 laps to go. But obviously, in 8 laps, we're about halfway through this race only. I think now a safety car would be huge, especially for the soft drivers. The stops as well as the rain obviously widened the field a little bit. We see RD on 100% battery. That's something we don't see usually. RD being actually reasonable with his battery. Let's see at the other thing, because we can actually look. First up at the tire age, obviously. He's Thunder with the next penalty, but we can also see the tire wear off everybody. And we see the soft tires obviously having a lot more, but not that much more as I personally expect. RD the only one on still 1 warning. Pit stops, we all had 2. Except Dangyu had 3. And Retro, who's already out, having 4. Kimirai by now having gained 12 positions. Juno 8. It's just a loss to first at this point. Oh, there's a yellow. Not anymore. Lewis hunting down Kimirai. Obviously, Kimirai not having taken part in the quali yesterday had to start at the back. Because of other driving duties. Floyd, next penalty. It's a lot. It's a lot at this point. Brandon, also next time penalty. Oh, Proto! Did you just get rid of the soft tires? I did actually not look for 1 second again. Or maybe he was... maybe he was the yellow flag. Lewis is now able to hunt down Kimirai, and now is the part where Kimirai does not have DRS anymore. Yeah, then he probably was the yellow flag we saw earlier a little bit. Not too long ago, actually. No, we have Lewis in the McLaren. It's gonna get it here, right? Ah, that's a late lunge again. Little high five on the front wheel, and Lewis goes up to 4th. If the DRC Williams team boss is watching this, great job having a 1-2. Sadly, neither actually drive a Williams in DRC. Kinda sad. Looks hunting down Lars. Meanwhile... Oh! Thunder is still chasing Floyd, and that is dangerous. Oh, God. Oh, God, oh, God. Last close to Lux in the battle for 12th. Kimura hopefully soon be able to get rid of his wing damage when he also gets rid of the soft compound tires. Rate all peaceful and quiet in P6. Donkey with the next penalty. And last going by for 12th. Unless that was a little corner cut. And looks obviously maybe being able to counter now on the long back straight. Yeah, it's not even a... Interesting. Interesting strat. That's also slightly the only battle we have currently on the circuit. Everybody's now spread apart, and now the strategy might slowly but surely kick in a little bit. We have Donkey behind RD. Thunder having overtaken Floyd? No, Lux fell back. I'm a very confused person today. Lux just fell back. Ahead of Brendan, who's now only a second back to the Mercedes driver. Donkey next 3-second penalty, and RDS really relaxed, I think, up ahead. Probably thinking, I want my home race to be every race of the week. Or the season, obviously. You'd kind of hope that Donkey wouldn't do anything here. But as stated, the race calmed down a good bit. I didn't want to click on Floyd. I wanted to click on Thunder. He's currently hunting down Lars, wanting to get back into 12th spot. Lars letting him by there. Also for DRS, no, because Thunder has it. Quite the interesting tactic. Brandon, the next one against Lux. Approaching, going faster and faster, and no overtake at this current time. And RD is in the pits. Is it the hard tire? Yeah. RD now probably going until the end of the race. Kimirai probably having the same fate. No, he's going on mediums. RD coming out good bit ahead of Justin. My tower wants to show something, but I'm not fully aware what it wants to show. so I'm not really questioning it. Even though I should probably. Juno's in the pit. Also on the hard tire. Comes out ahead of that battling field. And crucially ahead of Lloyd. And now that's big. That's big for the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, going to the Williams to actually see some battling. Maybe against Rate. Not this lap though. But who we can see battle is this certain Aston Martin hunting down Gravel Trap. King James, 30-second time penalty. Oh, I'd get like a nickel every time I mention a driver getting a 30-second time penalty, like Kimi right now. I'd have a lot of nickels. A big lot of nickels. Donkey hunting down Brendan for 16th. Meanwhile, Masquerader has it work cut out a little bit, but... This is a bit interesting sometimes. He still has a car behind him. It's a bit unnecessary. Wow, Ray with the big jiggle and going to the inside. That's a defense. Bit of an early defense, though. We're halfway through this race, ladies and gentlemen. We're in lap 36. That officially marks 50% of this race as done. We only had one retiree so far with retrospect, but we had a lot of time penalties and also a lot of action when, meanwhile, Kimi Red drives the fastest lap of the race. We had a lot of action. Especially in the first few laps of this 100% Canadian Grand Prix. Donkey getting 3-second time penalties is kind of like warm temperatures in the summer at this point. Masquerader, though, this time there is a lap car again. It looks a lap car, I think. But he gets not out of the way nicely, Masquerader. Was a surprise attack, but it was a working surprise attack. Masquerader takes the lead. And RD has overtaken Rate. Which was obvious because Rate's tires are old. Considering he also drove with both tires during the rain already. Keep her hunting down Prototype. While setting the fastest of the race yet again. And we move to 13th place. Juno scared Lars probably. I think Lars started with the strategy of, I just want to finish this race. I actually don't want to battle people that much. Purchase safety car. Why? Floyd's in the pits. Gravel Trap is in the pits. Can finish the race now. RD goes by. Yes. That's a really interesting virtual safety car. Kyle wanting to tell me something yet again, but that doesn't work. Raid is in the pits, going on a hard tire again. Also, probably able to finish the Grand Prix with this one. Lewis and Masquerader having a bit of a gap to each other. Lewis now quietly climbing up to second. JBC, the next one in the pits. I'm pretty sure he's going on hards. Yeah. That's another driver who wants to finish the race on this tire. Juno down the inside of Thunder, who doesn't fight. Juno up in 10th place. Prototype is behind Raid, who's still behind Kimirai, who has a lap car in front of him, and I'm not really too surprised if that would be. It's not. No, it's not a lap car. King James was just not in the pits. I'm really one confused person today. I apologize, people. King James down to 8th, might be 9th, depending if Prototype also wants to go by. Juno obviously now needs a safety car. This is 38 seconds. Even if everybody pits again, you lose barely 20 seconds in this pit stop. Also eventually have our thumbnails again for the races. I thought I'd mention it. There's not too much to talk about. The field is relatively separated. There's a yellow flag because King James had an off. We caught that. We caught him going wide. Now Donkey wants in on it. That wouldn't make sense though. So the Red Bull driver being the reasonable one. Kimirai, next fastest lap. Having hunted down Lewis for second, and then it's only Masquerader 6 seconds up the road, who was on the hards already, but also still needs to do one more pit stop. Are they playing DRS games here? Is he already gonna go to the inside? Not here. They both have a lot of energy. That should be relatively easy game. Last having another 10-second time penalty. And RD moving by into second place. And now Gravel Trap obviously having to do the same, hopefully this lap for him. Masquerader pitted, I think, when we went from inters back onto the dry tires. So it is a long while ago. That's also why RD is so close and so much faster. Now Gravel Trap with the beautiful Gulf livery. I like it. I really do. I really do like this Williams. I'll have a second. How much of a fight is Lewis gonna put up against his fellow mixer driver? Kimirai is right behind Justin. Yeah, not that much of a difference. Justin. Kimi ran right behind him. Right obviously just pitted during the virtual safety car. Kimi Rai going by. And Raid should as well during the start-finish straight. And he does though. Justin being relegated down to 7th. When is Masquerader pitting again? That's the big question we have here right now. What I will do, though, is I will be muted for just a lap or two to actually get some air real quick, because it is really humid and warm in this commentator room here. The action will be there. We're not having any big commercial breaks, but I will be back in just a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with voice, and that for the perfect moment as RD is lining up his move for the lead of the race. Having caught up the time difference, he had two Masqueraders. We now go into the last 26 laps of this Grand Prix. Half a second down the Williams driver. Meanwhile, Donkey might be getting Lars for 15, who is behind King James though. He just got lapped by him. Back to the front. And that is a perfect moment. RD not quite here. He knows what games to play. But there's also a lap car ahead of him. How is that gonna play into the cards of Gravel Trap and Masquerader? Gravel Trap no there as well. It's a Williams 2-3. But first we gotta see if Masquerader actually gets his rear wing open. No, he does not. The Haas moves over. RD needs to make a 3 right for just a second and goes by into the lead of the race. I pulled up during the little talking break I took to get some fresh air. The tire age with Masquerader's old, by now probably 25 lap old tires, as Lewis now enters the pits, who has just as old tires, and probably goes on to the mediums now to finish the race on them. Or is it another set of hards? It looks like it's another set of the hard compound tire. Meanwhile, Kimura is still behind Raid, was also still on these old rubbers. Not doing his best. RD having his own little fan club formed in the chat. Obviously, it's RD's home race here in Canada. Must have been delighted when he found out the first race of this event will be held in Canada. But there's a second Williams in his back. Not this lap, but there's definitely still a lot of opportunities. Gravel Trap is waiting and obviously saving until the big straight. Prototype now gets his first set of penalties. And here comes the move from Gravel Trap against RD Gamer, the two Williams side by side. Also moving onto the straight. But now Gravel Trap has the advantage with the DRS opened. Both using a lot of energy. RD also being on 2 warnings now instead of the comfortable 1 he had before. But also Gravel Trap being really, really close. To the third penalty. Donkey is a bit of its own case with 36 warnings and 36 seconds of penalties. Retro obviously getting 16 warnings and 28 seconds of penalties in the short distance he raced. Masquerader being in the pits and safety car deployed! Was it Floyd? Not changing the front wing. Who caused this? Safety car deploy. What's happening now? Everyone's still driving. Nobody DNF'd. With that, the big gap of both Gravel Trap and RD is gone. But both of them need to pit. Well, that's not good because they're both driving a Williams. What are Raid and Kimura doing? Does Kimura even have another set of mediums? Is probably the question now. Raid stays out. Kimura's in. Gravel Trap goes on to softs. That's too early. But he will stay ahead of Raid. Raid on hards. Delta having caught up. RD just about ahead of Masquerader. Kimura on softs. Justin on mediums. Lewis onto softs. What's Prototype going on to? Another set of hards and another set of front wings. Juno on hards. Barely avoided getting lapped. Juno and JBC being the last cars who are not lapped as this current moment. Gravel Trap leads. Out of Raid, RD Gamer, Masquerader! And now we wait until the field is bunched up. 21 laps remaining. Which gives me time to actually look at some football scores. Because I can. Alright, me looking at football scores is over. 20 laps to go. And definitely another lap of safety car, as not everybody has caught up yet. The last one who needs to move up the queue is JBC, I believe. Yes, it is. Also the last one in the leading lap. Looks getting a 3-second penalty during the safety car is really interesting. We might get everybody actually also really queued up this lap when we get going again. Watching the Mercedes safety car up ahead. Is there gonna be restart? It might have been Floyd. Let me see, Floyd rejoined. There's another lap. So we'll be going again in lap 53. Grotep Raid, RD Gamer, Masquerader, Kimmy Ray Justin, Lewis Protohype, King James, Juno, the top 10, JB in 11th, Brandon 12th, Lars in 13th, Floyd 14th, Donkey, aka the penalty master today, in 15th, Lux 16th, FTB after probably having side pod damage as well. After the start collision in 17th and Liz in 18th. I don't know what rate's plan is. I sadly don't have that much team comms right now, but Raid also can't do anything right now. They'll probably have comms with each other, so. We will have to raid and see. But this lap we will be going again. The Mercedes of Bernd Mailander will pull back into his garage as soon as the third sector is reached, which will be round about here. And here we get the new safety car in this lap. Gravel Trap now leading the pace, or setting the pace, which goes a lot smoother than we had in the Japan round 1 week ago. Is swerving off the Williams. Everybody swerving behind. Not that many, actually. Safety cars in the pit lane. So from this moment onward, we are waiting for Gravel Trap to accelerate and the race to go green again. Which he does right here. And we're back into racing. And Donkey got disqualified. But now we're back on the green flag. Great letting by both RD and Masquerader. Kimirai will probably have to fight for it a little bit. We have a lot of yellow and green flags. There's a Mercedes. There's looks at the back. Lars is out. Another safety car instantly. What happened there? Was looks involved? I don't think so. The only person that this really helps right now is Gravel Trap, because Gravel Trap can have his softs alive. Also, I will just use the safety car for a little bit of advertisement. If you like this stream, hit the like button, follow us on Twitch. You just do it. And if you do want to take part in our league races, as you can see on the YouTube channel, season 14 being currently on the way, check out the Discord. Link for that is in the stream description. But let's find out onto which tire rate goes. It's medium. Prototype getting another front wing. That's a lot of front wings. Juno is also back out. Also on softs. But that didn't matter too much now, because they're the last ones in the lead lap. So it doesn't really matter if they go back into the pits to use the next safety car yet again. Or if they take a little bit. Next safety car. He thought there was 6. Well, it's 16 laps to go. And this lap, we will also probably going back under green. Gravel Trap, RD Gamer, Masquerader, Kimirai, Justin, Lewis, King James, JB, Raid, Prototype, Juno are the ones on the lead lap. Then we still have Brandon, Floyd, Liz, FTB Thunder, Lux, and we already had to say goodbye to Lars, Retro, and Donkey, who got disqualified not too long ago. Give me a little bit of a big swerve, but I think we should be going green again for the last 15 laps. Here we go. Safety car in this lap. Rebel trap once again setting the pace. Can look at the penalties at a later time again. For now, let's focus on this restart. Hopefully, this is the last safety car of the race. 2 is enough for my little nerves. Will he do the same thing as last time? Yes, he will. And we are back racing in Canada for the Fixxxer versus DRC race. 100% Canadian Grand Prix green flag. Everybody really civilized by the looks of it. Obviously, Proto and Juno having to fight through the back with all the back markers. There's yellow, it's Brendan. Brendan's out in the start of the chicane. Between turn 3 and 4. That's quite interesting. But this time we have no safety car or anything. Meanwhile, Raid is right behind JB. Obviously, the fresh tires now on the Alpine. Might be a move already in there happen. FTB Thunder, 10 seconds. Ignored blue flag. That's a harsh penalty. RD against JB. It's soft against mediums, but Raid has more battery. What happened? I saw a few sparks flying. Justin now in the pits. Raid in the pits. Something happened? Sadly, we're not too aware, but now with DRS enabled, we're looking at RD Gamer. So look at the battle at the front. Everybody besides RD with a red exclamation mark. Even if RD now gets 1 penalty, still should be more than fine. Kimirai still fighting for the last to first. Or at least last to podium, being in 4th. The question now obviously being, how long are the softs lasting? Are they making the distance? RD Gamer, up into the lead. Gravel Trap gets a penalty. Masquerader, we know how he likes stuff like this. Kimirai fastest lap. Once again, last laps of the race, we have a lot going on. Nothing's decided. The top 4 all together in the train. Maybe Lewis is able to join again at a later point in this Grand Prix. It's raining again. It's raining again! There's no way. It's raining again over the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Oh, Masquerader. And RD gets his first penalty. Now every driver has one. Looks. Goes by Thunder. And we're going back to the front. It is raining again. Are we gonna see another set of inters being thrown onto these cars? Juno with the move against JB. JB is still there. Juno around the outside. Who has the DRS now? It is the Ferrari. Ah! The Haas picks the track limit. If that was so smart, I don't know. Because the Juno will now get DRS on the long back straight. Oh, I hear 3 people fighting for the race lead. Gravel trap! And Masquerader says thank you, question mark. No, Masquerader in second, Kimura third, RD fourth. But the car's still fine. It was really risky of Gravel Trap. Really risky. Now RD is down in fourth, but obviously has the least amount of penalties out of everybody in this group. But the hard tires. It is the hard tires that need to make the way. Now in this DRS train. Gravel Trap losing the rear. Masquerader now with the wing open. Kimirai with the wing open. Masquerader moves up into the lead of this race. Makes the corner. And now we go into the last 10 laps. 10 to go. There's a yellow flag somewhere. It's Lewis! And there was another crash. I think someone slightly crashed dodging him. Lewis, such a great drive so far. Being in 5th throws it all away. Masquerader, we know he likes these conditions. Gravel Trap in 2nd. Fantastic race so far. Raid moves up into 8th past Juno. But we need to see this leading group here right now. 9 laps from the finish. Well, 9.2 laps maybe from the finish. Everything still to play for. And Gravel Trap is in the pits and gets another penalty. 9 to go, we see, but we also see what time this is going to go on. Inters. It goes on to old Inters. Okay. RD Gamer behind Kimirai. The softs must be slightly dead now as well. This race does not disappoint. Lewis in the pits, JB in the pits. They're all going on to Inters. Floyd and Brandon in the meantime also retired. I did not see that. Saw Brandon. We saw Brandon, but not Floyd. Probably the conditions. We're blaming the conditions, I heard. RD in 3rd. Kimirai in 2nd. Masquerader in the lead. King James against his own old team principal for 4th. Prototype now in the pits. RD is in the pits. Raid is in the pits. Justin is staying out. Gravel Trap is Has a big lead. Well, 1.3. Is the rain that strong? Well, the rain is at least consistent. Masquerader drifts through the corner again. Looks with another penalty. Everybody's on inters, except the top 4. Gravel trap already by Justin again. Justin makes it as difficult as he can in his Mercedes. Wants to give RD the lifeline of closing Kimirai in the pits. DRS is still enabled. Actually need to drink something for a stops. Justin fights, but the dries don't do it anymore. What's Masquerader's plan? Stay out until the end of the race? Or what exactly might he be up to? Well, it has to be. 6 laps remaining. Yes, Justin, and no Justin altogether. He pits now. 6 up from the fuck. Means King James also needs to go in. Yeah. And we're back to the yellow picture. Gravel Trap, RD Gamer, Kimirai. Justin is also in the pits. Proto hype them. In 4th. Masquerader against Kimirai in the back. Prototype stays in 5th then. Masquerader pushed onto the grass. Saved it. Disconnect next 3 seconds. Gravel Tap 3 seconds in the lead. RD Gamer 2nd, Kimirai 3rd. Masquerader still relatively close to the Racing Bull driver in 3rd. Or we simply can't forget the penalties. And Gravel Trap simply has way too many of them. RD technically still needs to fight against Kimirai. They're both on 5 warnings. Might actually get close for the last 5 laps. Kimirai having Masquerader behind. Raid overtaking King James. Gravel Trap now with the next penalties. Throwing it all away. DRS disabled now. The rain now officially too much for the race direction. And the chat is finally alive. Kimirai, 14 places. He can actually, if he passes RD, fulfill a last to first. RD obviously wanting to win this event. Win on his home ground. Masquerader in 4th. Also still plays a role. Even if he has more penalties. JBC is in 9th, right behind Juno, with Justin right behind as well. What they need to do now is don't screw around. Just drive those 4 laps, not do anything unnecessary. Floyd leaves the session. Obviously, he retired a while ago. This is RD's race to lose. If anything, Kimi Ryan Masquerader behind. Prototype 4 seconds back. Raid 3.5 seconds back. King James back. The battle for 8th still being interesting. And also the battle for 12th. Looks next penalty. Graveltrap runs away. RD doesn't have the pace to follow, but RD just doesn't need to have the pace to follow. He just needs to sit where he is. Don't get overtaken by Kimi Rai, don't get overtaken by Masquerader, but is Kimi Rai ready to play second fiddle? And Human Shield. Next slide. 3 laps to go. Already out of energy. Graveltrap drove a fantastic race. Could have won this one. But in the end, it's not meant to be. Meanwhile, this pack of 3 needs to round the circuit 2 more times. The question remains, is Kimi Rai ready to play second fiddle to RD? Or is he going for it? Always looks like he'd want to go for it. But then at the last moment decides against it. Also don't know what Masquerader's plan is. Is he ready to play? To play the team game? Or does he have his own interests? 2 laps to go. Prototype getting closer. Raid getting closer to Prototype. Lewis in 11th, also having driven a fantastic race if it wasn't for that one mistake in the Villeneuve chicane. Alright, Kimi Rai is faster. That should be obvious by now. The rain coming down even heavier than before. Looks a bit like RD now has a wall of 4 people behind him. Right now also being behind Prototype. Overtaking him. Second to last time. This long straight. Down to the Villeneuve chicane and the wall of champion. Kimi Rai once again deciding against the final lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. Now as well for those 3. RD and his protective shield of a Racing Bull and an Aston Martin. Against the one sole fighter for the Fixxxer League, Graveltrap, who is up in front. Kimi Rai now has the penalty that decides it for RD if he doesn't get one as well. The win could have been his with a dominant drive as well in the end. But Gravel Trap threw it all away. Last time, this long straight. Kimi right close. Closer and closer. Now actually letting go a little bit. He'll be there shortly. Gravel Trap last time. Goes by the wall of champion and wins the first event race. But here is the homegrown hero. RD Gamer wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Kimi Rai second, Masquerader third, Raid fourth. Prototype third. Prototype goes up to third and into the podium positions. King James goes up to sixth, also going by Gravel Trap. Justin 8th, Juno 9th, JB in 10th, no, Justin 7th, also going by Gravel Trap. Lewis also going by Gravel Trap. JB, the first car, actually finishes behind him. Gravel Trap goes from first all the way down to 10th. All with just the time penalties. Here we have the last finishing car. Liskinek finishing in 14th. 13th, because Lux is finishing 14th. Here we go. Two Canadians on the podium of the Canadian Grand Prix. RD Gamer and Prototype. And Kimi Rai finishes a fantastic last 2 seconds. Wow. This was amazing. Here we go. Driver of the day, Kimi Rai. Couldn't agree more. Most overtakes, Lewis. Fantastic race. Cleanest driver, RD Gamer. That is also not a surprise. I hope you guys enjoyed the first race of many of DRC against Fixxxer. I also hope I will see every one of you next week when we go back into League Racing and go up for the British Grand Prix in DRC Season 14. I wish you guys a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic evening. And as you guys know,